My earliest memory is of Alan and me jumping up and down on the bed we shared in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Mom shouted from the living room, "Go to sleep or your father's coming in there with a strap." We shouted back that we would, but we didn't, and Dad came rumbling down the hall like a bowling ball headed for the 10-pin. My brother and I scrambled under the cover, a prickly blue woolen blanket that would follow me halfway across America, with Alan on top of me as my shield. The door flung open and there he was, Mountain Man Dean, pulling off his belt and doubling it over, snapping its sides and heading for our bed. When he got within range, he bent over and poked around until he found us. Then he hollered about putting a stop to all of this horsing around and began slapping down with his belt. Whap! 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 Finally, I caught on. The belt landed only where we were not. Alan, already playing along, wailed loudly for Dad to stop, which he did. Then he plucked us out of our hiding place, lowered us one by one onto the pillow, tucked the blanket around our shoulders, and kissed us goodnight. Slamming the door behind him, he bellowed down the hallway. "And I'll come straight back in there if I hear another peep out of either of you." My brother and I giggled ourselves to sleep that night. What satisfaction to be included in our father's elaborate deception. And what a habit it had become for our father to deceive. That was 1946, the year our father met Dorothy Heinrich in a Kalamazoo diner. She would one day become his wife, but for now she was his waitress. Dot was 5'10", with the sultriness of Rita Hayworth. Mom was 4'10", with the temperament of Henry VIII. So there you have it. It wasn't the first time Mom had caught Dad cheating, but it was the last. Our parents would scream at each other for what felt like hours. Alan would cry in bed beside me and then, to my astonishment, get up and go down the hall to intervene. Mom would shriek, "Get out of here, Mr. Badinsky. This is not your business. Get back in that bed." To her, he had become a hellion she could not control. That December, when I was 4 and Alan 10, our parents separated and divvied us up, my brother to Dad and me to Mom. Mom was also pregnant with our sister, Linda. So from that point on, during childhoods that rarely overlapped, my brother and I were raised as only sons. Over the years, Mom offered a litany of excuses for why she left her firstborn son with that momser. Yiddish for bastard and all things irredeemable. A boy needs his dad. Our father adored him. Alan had to finish the 5th grade, each true, but none the truth. The truth was that Mom thought her little hellion would scare off 18-year-old Dorothy Heinrich, a serious miscalculation. The way Alan must have seen things, the way many children see these things, was that our mother gave up on him because he was responsible for her marriage falling apart. And when I think about what went wrong for my brother, as I often do, I keep returning to the irremediable damage that our parents' separation and all its repercussions had on the way he viewed himself and the world. Mom and I left Detroit on a train bound for Little Rock, where she grew up. Soon after arriving, Mom gave birth to Linda, and the three of us lived in the relative tranquility of my maternal grandparents' home. I say relative because we were, after all, Jews. The 5 of us shared their 2-bedroom house, warmed by the hallway register in winter and serenaded by cardinals in the backyard each spring. Small though it was, I felt at home there, and home felt luxurious. I certainly didn't miss my father or brother, at least not yet. My grandmother, Mama Hattie, was a safe harbor where I docked the sundry hurts of childhood. Be it a broken tooth or a skinned knee, I could escape it easily enough by tucking myself into the folds of her skirt, often while she stood tending a sizzling stove. Mama Hattie served blackened everything, fried foods that had to be coaxed out of the skillet with a metal spatula and serious scraping. Then she poured the greasy residue